Okay, I think we are live. Just double checking. Give me a second. Just need to make sure we're live. I think we are live. Okay, we are live. Good morning, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is the weekly eCom planning session. I know we normally do these earlier, and I'm going to tell you, it's been a crazy morning, but that's okay. We have a track meet today, so I apologize. Got a lot of stuff going on. I apologize for the delay. We do have our monthly planning session tomorrow at 7 a.m. So you can always go back and watch the replay. We are live on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So please share this out with a friend. Let somebody else know about the daily, weekly, and monthly e-com planning sessions. We definitely need to plan for our success next month because it is the last month of the quarter. So we want to make sure we finish quarter one strong. So if you can catch the replay tomorrow or join me in the morning, that would be fantastic. In any case, again, my name is Nicole Whitlock, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to be focused, get organized, get consistent in their business. And if that's you, I am here for you. You'll be given the opportunity to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session. And I will encourage you to grab the eCom Planner. If you don't know about it, you can go to myecomplanner.com to check it out. And lastly, you will also be invited to join eCom Sellers Academy. So with that, let's get into today's session, which is planning for success next week. Since we're live on Clubhouse, when this is done, if you want to continue the conversation, you want to talk about your business, you want to talk about your game plan for first quarter, if you want to discuss any of the e-commerce methods or any of the e-commerce platforms, I am happy to continue that conversation. You can definitely talk with me over on Clubhouse. Just join the eCom Sellers Club and we can continue the conversation there. So with that, with the weekly ecom planning session, what we typically do, there's a couple of things that we do. One, we build a template as our starting point. And if you don't have a template, we're going to talk through that in just a second. But two, if you already have a template, then you're ready to move on to the second step. And the second step is actually planning out the week. So in the ecom planner, you have a place where you can plan out your week. A template for planning out your week. And also, if you've participated in the workshop before and then in the planning sessions before, then you can just go ahead and pull out your notebook or open up your Google Sheets and begin the process of indicating what you're going to focus on next week. And the what is so important because that's going to help you be intentional about the success that you want to achieve next week. And it's going to drive where your focus and your energy is going to go. So we are in the middle of a listing challenge, and I'm hoping that our amazing team that is part of the listing challenge, that they are putting together their game plan for next week so that they can have a highly productive week. So with that, let's go through what needs to happen when we're going through and planning our week if you have not ever created a template. So if you haven't ever created a template that kind of outlines, the things the areas where you want to focus, that's what the template really drives. What are the areas that I want to focus on each week? And then when we finish the template, we use that as our guide, our driving guide for the actual what we're going to do each day throughout the week. So let's build this template. If we haven't already done so, the first thing we're going to need is either a notebook. I like to use spiral bound notebooks. If you don't have an e-commerce planner, you can get a spiral bound notebook and just grab a pen. If you want to do it online, you have the opportunity to do this template, create this template online. You can go directly to Google Drive. So the great thing about Google is, of course, all the products are free. Most of them are free. As far as, like the tools. If you're a person that loves to use Excel, they have a tool inside of Google called Google Sheets, and you can open up Google Sheets. The way you access that is that you go to your Gmail account. And if you don't have a Gmail account, I encourage you to create one because you can access a lot of cool tools there. But in any case, you go to your Gmail account, and then next to your initials in the upper right-hand corner, you click on the 9 dots, which I call the Rubik's Cube. And once you click on those 9 dots, then you're going to see an option for Drive. You're going to click on Drive. It's typically a multicolored triangle. And then once you click on Drive, you're going to go over to the left-hand side of the screen. And on the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to see a multicolored plus. And you're going to click on the multicolored plus to select Google Sheets. Now, if you're using Google Sheets, you're going to have a bunch of columns that you're going to be working with. And you're literally going to fill in this information going down in the column. So let's talk about what the headers are. You're going to have Sheet 1, and Sheet 1 is on Sheet 1, that is where we're going to put like just the brain dump of the information that we want to document. And on Sheet 2, so you have to scroll down to the bottom half of the page, click on the small plus and add a second sheet. And Sheet 2 is where we're going to actually create the template. So you have Sheet 1 and Sheet 2. In Sheet 1, our columns are going to be things that we're thinking about for next week, and also long-term, where we want to go with our business and also with our life, because this template is designed to work not only for your business, but also for your life. So in the template, the first column A1 of the Google Sheet, is we are going to write things that we already do. These are things that you do without thinking about it. You do on autopilot pretty much every single week. So that can be, maybe you have a Bible study that you do every Wednesday. And so it's something that you do on autopilot, or you go to church every Wednesday. Maybe you go grocery shopping every week at the same time. Maybe you clean your house a certain time throughout the week, like every Saturday at 2:00, whatever that happens to be for you. So these are things that are pretty constant for the season that you happen to be in. So when I say the season, just know that I have multiple templates, because I have a template for when my son runs track. And that one is very open and has to be flexible, because I never know when the track meets are and when track practice is going to be. But two, I have another one for when the kids are out of school for the summer. I have a separate template for when the kids are in school, and I have a template for Q4. So I have 4 different templates that I typically rotate throughout the year. So that is sort of my season that I'm going to be working on different things. So my template is pretty inclusive. So write down on Sheet 1 things that you already do. Now, if you have the notebook, your first page is going to be things that you already do. So your first column on that page is going to be just a brain dump. You can label the top. You put 3 lines. Definitely put 3 lines. And so the first line on the right side of or left side of the first line is where you're going to just do a brain dump going down of things that you already do on a regular basis every single week. Then next to that one, and also in your Google Sheet, B1 and C1 are going to be, when do you normally do these things and what time do you normally do them? So what day do you normally do these activities and what time? So again, these are things that you're committed to. You're not flexible about them. They're very constant. They're reserved or dedicated time. So a family night, Friday night, family night is a thing in your household. That is committed time that you don't want to put anything else in that spot. You don't do anything else in that spot. And that is time that you invest in your family. So that would be another example of things that you already do. These are also things that you feel are important because they're pretty constant. So even having a job, so you can put work. And if that's something you already do every single day from 8 to 5, put work in the column A1. And next to that, when do you do that? You do that Monday through Friday, maybe. And what time do you do that? 8 to 5. And nothing else can bleed into that time unless it's a dire emergency. Okay. So write down the things, and you can come back to this, but just know what goes in on Sheet 1 of the your notebook sheet and the columns that should be next to that, which is what day do you normally do it and what time. And then if you're using a Google Sheet, you got column A1, B1, and C1. The next thing is the columns that you're going to put in here for things that you need to do or must do every week. So these are things that you are not currently doing at all. And or if you are doing them, you're extremely random or sparing about it, and you really feel like implementing this into your life is something that's really going to move the needle, improve things, change your life in some kind of way. So it's things that you need or must do. And on your notebook, you're going to go to the next page. This is page 2. You're going to really use up about 5 pages here. So the first page is things you already do. Page 2 is going to be things that you need or must do. Page 3, we're going to get to things you want or should be doing. And page 4 is where we're going to put the template. Page 5 is where you're going to create your actual schedule. So just so you can follow along. So if you're using a Google Sheet, you're going to go to column D1. So there's column D1, E1, and F1. Column D1, these are things you need or must do that's going to improve your life or improve your business in some kind of way, but you're not doing them consistently at all, like extremely random, and or you're not doing them at all. And we're going to leave the columns for E1 and F1 blank. The reason we're going to leave those blank is because we're going to fill those in later. So we're going to like play Tetris. Dun, dun, dun. This is where you like plug in things. So, so we're going to leave those blank for right now. I just want you to do a brain dump of things that you feel like you need to do. So if one of the things that you're not doing in your e-commerce business is you're not cross-listing and you feel like cross-listing, you're taking your listings and sharing them onto other platforms will help, or sharing them on social media will help, then that's something you're going to put under need or must. If you feel like establishing a morning routine with your kids is something that's going to improve your stress level first thing in the morning, then that's something that you're going to put under need or must do. I mean, like if you have a random schedule routine and you really feel like you need an established one, put that down. If you feel like it's going to serve your life and your business well. If you are very inconsistent, extremely inconsistent about sourcing or even listing, let's say you list on Monday and Tuesday this week, and then next week you didn't list anything, and then the week after that you listed one day, and then the week after that you listed one day as well. Like that's very random depending on your e-commerce model. That may not generate you any income or traffic. So again, depends on your e-commerce model. If you got private label, then you probably don't have to list as much as everybody else. But in any case, well, depending on what you sell. So hopefully that gives you some insight. What are the things, like if you don't reconcile your account, you're coming to the end of February and you don't reconcile anything. You don't reconcile your inventory. You don't reconcile sales. You do no accounting. You don't do your taxes. You don't anything. That's probably something that should go on the need or must do. So hopefully that kind of gives you some insight on things that will help you. One other thing you may add is if you're not working out at all, like you're not exercising, maybe you started off the new year and you said you're going to have a New Year's resolution to work out, and then you started strong for week 1 and week 2 of January, and then you just fell off the wagon and you've never been able to get back on it. That's one you can put under need or must. If you feel like that's going to improve your health or improve your situation, improve your mental focus and concentration, because exercise does help with that. So on your Google Sheet, you've got column D1, E1, and F1. And E1 and F1 we're going to leave blank. And then on your pages, if you're doing a notebook, you're going to have a second sheet, and you're just going to just do a brain dump of things that you feel like you need or must do that will improve your life or improve your business, or that will be a blessing to your life or your business, or that will reduce your stress level. Okay. So then we're going to move on to things you want or should be doing. These are things that you do, but you're inconsistent. You're not where they're that you don't do them at all. Okay. So you do them, whatever they are, and you're very inconsistent about it, but you're not as inconsistent as the need or must. Okay. So things that you want to start doing, things that you should be doing, like maybe you want to start thinking about running Google ads. Maybe you want to start doing Facebook ads. Maybe you want to venture into drop shipping, or maybe you feel like you should be reconciling your account in your accounts in your business every single month, and you're not. Or maybe you feel like you should be tracking your daily activity to improve your productivity. Maybe that's something that goes on to want and should. Maybe you do it, but you're not as consistent. You're not extremely random about it, but something that you feel like is going to improve your life, reduce your stress, and improve your situation. Same thing with your, household and family and all that other stuff. Maybe you're not spending as much time with the kids as you want to, or maybe you're not getting out to exercise more or whatever. And so this is something that you feel like is going to improve your life. If you're trying to get better work-life balance, which I really feel like it's life balance, then you can put that under want or should. So think about all the things that you feel like you want or should be doing in your business. You're doing them, but you're not doing them in there's no organization to it. So, you're listing, but some mornings you're listing in the morning and other days you're listing in the afternoon. And you feel like if I were just more consistent about when I list, that would actually make my life a lot easier. And I wouldn't feel like I'm always rushing and reacting to everything. So think about the things that you want or should be doing in your life or your business. Put that on page 3 if you're doing a notebook. If you're not doing a notebook or written notebook, then put this in your spreadsheet, and that's going to be column G, H, and I. So G is a brain dump of things that you want or should be doing in your life or in your business. And then H and this is fairly consistent. And H and I is going to be the day in which you do it and the time. Now we're going to leave H and I blank. H and I is going to be blank. Same thing in your notebook. Those are going to be blank for right now because we're not going to fill those in. All right. So as we're going through trying to figure out what do we put on this sheet, like what do we add? Where do I get these ideas of what to add and what not to add? I'm going to just throw some stuff out at you. You can figure out if they go on sheet 1, sheet 2, or sheet 3 of your spiral notebook or your notebook, or if they go on columns A, B, and C, D, E, and F, G, H, and I. Like you'll figure out which one you feel like they should go under. So the first one is, anything that's spiritual or religious. Maybe you want to do meditation and you hadn't really made time for that. And you feel like when you do meditate, you're able to think a little clearer. You're able to focus better because, social media really sucks the life out of all of us. Our ability to focus for any extended period of time, like that part of our brain is sort of semi-broken at this point, which is really sad. But personal, anything that's personal, maybe you want to connect with your friends more frequently. Maybe you have a Friday girls luncheon or a Friday guys luncheon, where you guys get together, whatever. And you just don't do it, or you don't contact, your family enough. So it's something that you do maybe once a quarter and you feel like, I should probably at least try to reach out to my family at least once a month instead of once a quarter. So again, things to think about. Your financial situation, your own finances. Maybe you're not reconciling your own finances. Maybe you're always paying late fees on your bills. Maybe there's something else that's going on. And so you want to get better about that. You want to pay less late fees in 2023. It's something to think about. Health and fitness. Maybe one of the things you have to do is get allergy shots. So that's something that you already do, and that goes on that sheet. Whereas maybe you want to start getting allergy shots so you can be a little less miserable. And if it's an option for you and you're okay with it, then put that on your list. Fitness, getting out and exercising, lifting weights, whatever it happens to be for you, or eating healthier. Meal prepping, one of the things that we do. So maybe that goes on your list of things that you want or should be doing because maybe you're doing meal prepping, but you're very inconsistent about it. Family and household. So, which days of the week you clean the house, which days of the week you go do stuff with your kids or with your family or with your spouse or with your pets. Maybe when you go grocery shopping. So I will tell you, in my household, like we have a very consistent schedule. And because of the fact that we have a track meet today, we are going to cook this morning so that way I don't have to think about it this evening. We typically do our grocery shopping Friday evening, and then that's the same time in which I do some additional sourcing. So it's a long day for me. We start around 4, we don't wrap it up until about 10. And then and that's what my life is like. And then the next one is that we We typically clean up on Saturdays, although we do some cleanup on Friday. And we will also do our meal prep for the week. So it makes life a whole lot easier. And we do meal prep after church on Saturday. But today we won't be able to go to Saturday service because I'll probably still be on a track field somewhere. So my point is, we got to cook early. I just shift it around when we do it because I have to be flexible during this season. When this season is over, I love to go back to my normalcy. So, what are some of the things that you have not really thought through, and you're like, I'm really random about these things in my life? And I think if I had a little more consistency, it would probably improve my focus, my concentration, my productivity. It would also make me feel a little less stressed, and I wouldn't feel like I'm reacting to everything because I'm always forgetting stuff, you know? So that's just from a personal standpoint. Now, let's talk about your business. So these are some of the things that you need to figure out. Does it go on the things that you already do, need to do, or should be doing? Okay. So sourcing related activities. When you do sourcing, are you thinking about sourcing products for the next 4 to 20 weeks? Or are you always that person that's always like, oh crap, St. Patty's Day is next month and I have no products and I have no listings up? Well, you probably should have started working on that at least by beginning of February, but it's okay. You still got time. My point is, are you reacting to your business? And so you're always behind the 8 ball, doing a little more advanced planning. So maybe you should have some time dedicated in your life for sourcing and sourcing products in advance. Thinking about upcoming holidays, events, seasonal things, sourcing replenishables, consumables, wholesale, drop shipping product opportunities, like doing that sourcing activity around drop shipping products or from your wholesale suppliers. Maybe your private label or white label opportunities. Maybe you're, again, you may be behind the 8 ball a lot of times. And so sourcing may be an activity in which you feel like, I need to get on the ball with that. I need to really tighten up that part of my business. I need to be more consistent and be committed and focused to that. Next is research related activities, product research, listing research, keyword research. Like, are you doing any of that? Or are you not doing any of it at all? Which column does that go under in your life? Now, I want to say this is not like everything for every e-commerce method. So this should hopefully like trigger your thoughts around, yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. Because again, this is not a totally inclusive list, but it should help you think about other things. And so you just start, you're making a list going down. You just do your brain dump this out of your head, start writing things. You can figure out where it goes later. Just do a brain dump. Okay. We're just doing a brain dump exercise. So if you're not doing product research, that's really important. Listing research is important too, because you got to know what to put in those listings so that you can get some organic traffic. And keyword research. Yeah, again, that information is important. So if you're not doing any part of that, that may be something you want to sprinkle into your life. The next one is listing related activities. So if you're inconsistent about listing, you should have joined the listing challenge, hopefully. But if you didn't, put this on your list of setting aside committed, dedicated time in which you're actually going to list every single week. When are you going to do it? What time? And what is, I would say, what's your quantity? What's your volume that you're targeting, depending on your e-commerce method? Again, if you're doing private label, you may not be listing as much as others who are selling other types of products. It just depends on what your e-commerce method is. True private label, not white label. White label, you're going to be listing a lot too, just not as much as retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, thrifting, and all that, and drop shipping and wholesale. Next is shipping related activities. So even if you are allowing, a service, an integration, a tool to auto fulfill your orders, fantastic. You still need to go back and check and make sure stuff is happening. I just discovered some stuff didn't get shipped for me. And yes, I was a little distracted, so I didn't even notice that. And that is bad on me. So I slap my hand on the wrist, because normally that's something that I do. But this last week was a little crazy, and the week before that was too. So I was like, okay, Nicole, you need to get back on your horse, because you got a little distracted there. But in any case, going in and checking those things that are auto fulfill. Are they going out? Are they not going out? If they're not going out, that's a problem. And are you checking? Are you having a VA check? Things like that. So again, auto fulfillment, extremely important. Are you sending shipments over to Amazon FBA? Are you sending Walmart WFS? What are you doing? And do you have a dedicated day of the week and time in which you send those shipments? Do you send 2 shipments a week? Do you send 1 shipment a week? Do you send 3 shipments a week? Are you, again, inventory in, inventory out? Are you making sure you're getting your inventory in from your wholesale suppliers or your other sources and getting those off to those fulfillment centers for you? Or do you have orders that you fulfill yourself? And you have shipments that you're not even checking that you're supposed to get out to customers that you need to package up and get in the mail. So again, if you're very random, you're always reacting, then you probably should have committed or dedicated time in which you focus on that activity. The next is the administrative activity. Since we're at the end of the month, this is when we start to think about, in most cases, some of the things that we should be focusing on each month. There are some of these activities you're going to do each week, but there are things that you should be doing monthly. So, running your platform reports, filing your taxes, reconciling your bank accounts, reconciling your inventory, just auditing your inventory, balancing your budget, establishing a budget. Do you have a budget that you use to run your e-commerce business, or have you never created one before? Does that go on one of those columns? Tracking your expenses and your receipts, ordering inventory, checking your expiration dates, auditing. Well, I already said auditing. Creating standard operating procedures. Maybe you have a VA, or maybe you want to completely package up and sell your business at some future point. So again, you have to have some processes in place. Hadn't probably thought about that at this point. Review and adjust your prices if that's needed, or are you using a tool to do that? And are you checking to see what the tool is doing? Analyzing the data, reviewing your stats. I could go on and on, but there's a lot of stuff to running an e-commerce business. So are you doing any of these things? Are you doing none of these things? Are you randomly doing some of these things? And what does next week look like for you when it comes to these things? Next is your customer service related activities. These are handling questions, dealing with returns, refunds, checking your reviews. Are you doing that? Or are you never doing that? And then next is education and activity, education related activities or learning activities. So what is it that first, let me just ask this question. Do you have any time set aside in your schedule right now where you actually focus on or commit to learning something new? You should be committing to at least 15 to 30 minutes every single week learning something new in your e-commerce business. And if you are working more than 20 hours or more than 25, either one, you should at least set aside 1 hour every single week to learn something new, whether it is focusing 100% on optimizing a listing, learning how to optimize listings, and just spending 30 minutes every single week how to optimize the listing. Focus on the first part, the title, then focus on the next one. Next week, work on the description. Then the next week, work on your images, and just gradually get better piece by piece, incrementally, so that way, over time, your listings become masterpieces. That's the goal at the end of the day, to get better over time. If we just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're not going to get any better. So there's a difference between getting to where you want to and maintaining it versus actually improving. When you're working to lose weight, you're exercising, you're eating right, and you're continually, gradually working towards a goal of a certain weight, right? When you get to that place where you have gotten to your ideal number, if it's a number, or a size, if it's a size, then it becomes maintenance. And so all of your routines, your daily routines, matter when it comes to maintenance. Well, same thing when it comes to your e-commerce business and learning something new. It is about learning something and getting better at it, and then maintaining that, implementing it on a regular basis, naturally, organically, into your daily and weekly activities when it comes to running your business. So if listing optimization is one of those things you want to get better at, once you have learned it and you feel like you've gained a significant amount of information about it, you're going to make sure that you continually execute what you learned in your business every day when you create new listings, so that way you always create the most optimal listing going forward. You know what the listing should look like. So you should have dedicated time in which to learn something new, develop a new skill, or better understand or gain some knowledge about something. Every single week, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, depends on how much time you're working in your business. So if you're only working 5 hours a week in your business, spending an hour learning every single week is not ideal. It should probably be closer to 15 minutes because you're going to learn something incrementally and immediately apply it in what you learned. Versus if you're working 20 hours in in a week in your business, then 1 hour is sufficient. So make sure that the amount of time that you commit is proportionate to the amount of time you're actually working in your business. And the biggest thing that you should be doing above all else is listing. Listing is the lifeblood of your e-commerce business. If you don't have listings, you can't make money. Then the next one is marketing and traffic related activities, sending your listings through Pingler or Ping Farm, sharing your listings across different social platforms or creating blogs, doing TikToks, because TikToks are free. Sending emails. There's a lot of different platforms that will allow you to do a free account if you have under a certain subscriber list. And when you're first starting out, you don't have a lot of subscribers. So, you could sign up for one of those free ones where they can let you have up to 500 contacts. That way you can go back and market to them. Go do that. So those are all free. Now, paid stuff you've got to pay for. Again, are you doing any of that? Okay. So figure out which activities, whether or not you're doing promotions, coupons, doing sales, running paid campaigns or paid ads. Like, are you doing any of it? Are you doing none of it? Which column does this go under? Which page does this go on? Is it stuff that you're already doing? Is it something that you need or want to do? Sorry, not need or want. Something that you need to do. Or is it something that you should be doing? So those are the differences. So hopefully you're starting to fill in those pages and those sheets. If you're not, come back to that. Sometimes we have to think about it, meditate on it, and then come back to it. Don't get distracted by watching TikToks or Instagram Reels or whatever in between that thought process, because that will definitely distract you and it will take you off your game. So you're going to have to figure out how to focus. That's one of the challenges. And I will tell you, one of the things that I said that I was going to do this year is I'm going to actually go through and tell you which apps you can install on your phone so that you can control that. Because again, we are distracted as a world, not just as a country, as a nation. Social media has got us very distracted. And so our ability to focus for any period of time is really messed up now. So I want to get you back to where you can actually focus every single day on something for a good 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, take a 30-minute break in between, but not 30-minute break, a 5-minute break in between, but my point, every 30 minutes. But my point is that again, you've got to focus in order to make the progress you want to make and get your business where you want it to be, and also your life where you want it to be. You got to focus. So now that we've kind of done this brain dump, and again, you continue building out your list until you feel like you have an inclusive list. We're going to take that list and those pages and those columns where I said leave those blank. Now we're going to start thinking about it like a puzzle piece, like a Tetris game. Where does it make sense for me to do this potential activity? Is it something that I want to do every single week, or is it something I really want to do every single month? And where should I put them? So which day of the week should they go on and what time? And you're going to move things around. You're going to figure out which day works best, whether or not you should be doing this thing in the morning or the afternoon or the evening. And when you're thinking about the time in which you should be doing an activity, think about your most productive time of the day. Typically, for most people, the morning right after you wake up is the most productive time of the day. For most people, because the brain has dumped out everything overnight and you're reset and you're refreshed. Depending on if you get your morning coffee, you're ready to go, or you've got to go first thing in the morning, get going. So for a lot of people, going out and getting started working on your business or doing whatever, whether it's get up and do that morning run or go do your yoga class or do your meditation or read your Bible, drink your coffee, whatever it happens to be, and getting going in your day, that is common that the morning is their most productive time of the day. So is there something that's happening in the mornings that's preventing you from working in your business in the morning? That's something you have to work out. But as far as everything else, like, okay, you can move things around so that if it doesn't require a lot of brain energy and brain juices, maybe it goes to the afternoon. Is something you don't have to think about. So like creating shipments is less brain intensive than creating a listing. Creating a listing requires me to focus, to concentrate, to think about keywords and titles and all that other stuff. Now, over time, that will become very fluid for you. It will become something that you do fairly easily because you've gone and, you've worked on listing optimization so that it's not as hard. But initially, when you're trying to do something new, it's going to be a little harder because it forces you to think about it. Versus later on, it may not be as hard. It may come naturally. That's because you've done it over and over again with repetition. You get better at it and becomes less stressful and a lot easier. Doesn't require as much brain juices because you're on autopilot. Now, as you're going through and thinking about the things that maybe some of the things you do in the morning or the afternoon or the evening, and you've got to figure out where to move things around, maybe it reveals to you that you've got to get up an extra hour earlier, which means you might need to go to bed an extra hour earlier so you can get up an extra hour earlier to get some stuff done. Maybe it reveals that you've been wasting a lot of time. And so time is very finite and it is a precious gift. So that's something that you want to stop wasting so that you can invest it in something that's going to change your life and change your family's life. So you got to get focused. You'll figure out where you want to put things. And as you're going on that journey, some of the things that you wrote on your brain dump list are going to be things that become mini habits or mini goals. Something that you start off doing gradually, and then over time you increase it. So and it's easy to do initially. So an example of that is maybe one of your target goals is I'm going to create at least 5 listings every single day, no matter what. Well, to get to that initially, it may be hard because your brain is having a hard time with focus or concentration, or you just can't find that window to list. So one of the things you might do is instead of setting a goal to list 5 items every single day or 10 items every single day, maybe what you do is you decide, I'm going to at least list 1 item every day. So week 1, it's 1 item every single day. Then week 2, it's 2 items every single day. Week 3, it's 3 items every single day. And then incrementally over time, you get to your target of 5 items. That's a mini goal. Another one might be exercising, going for a walk. So maybe that initial committing to 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour walk every single day is just daunting. So maybe what you do is you start off with, I'm going to walk at least 10 minutes. Every day, or 5 minutes. I'm going to walk for 5 minutes. You just walk for 5 minutes and you come back home. Then the next week is 10 minutes every single day, or 3 days a week, or 5 days a week. Then the next one is 15 minutes and 20. And then gradually you get to your goal of 30 minutes over time. So again, thinking about how you can implement something in the smaller portion, smaller size, smaller amount of time, smaller investment, so that you can gradually reach your goal over time and you gradually increase to it. The next one is habit stacking, putting together things that make sense in the natural flow or order of things. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. One of the things that I have to do is sourcing. So sourcing is extremely important if you're running a retail arbitrage, online arbitrage business, or if you're working on bundle ideas and concepts. I got to go out. I got to go look because, physically holding and looking at something for me helps me to visualize, how will I package this? How will I ship it? And I can go do my research on how, what kind of bundle I'm going to make long term. So I like to go out and physically touch stuff. Okay. That sounds weird. Anyway, we're going to move on. So one of the things that I do is when I go out to do my grocery shopping, I know that near where I'm going, there's typically a few stores that I like to frequent. And so because those stores are there, I don't go shopping and then come home. While I'm out, I do this while I'm already out. It is something that logically makes sense because it's already in the natural flow of what's happening that day. So I typically will do my shopping and then do my retail arbitrage shopping simultaneously while I'm out. So I'm not doing this whole come home and then drive back out. That's a waste of time. So I'm collapsing the amount of time and energy that I have to spend doing something into one big effort. Same thing that, you think about your morning routine, your evening routine. Maybe in the morning, your morning routine is just like a hot mess and it takes you an hour and a half to pull it together. Versus if you figure out what can I do, like if I'm already in the kitchen making coffee, I can go ahead and fix lunch or pull the kids' lunch out or make breakfast. And then before I go upstairs, if you happen to have a 2-level house like I do, then I will blah, blah, blah. So that you're doing things that need to be done while you're already in that space area getting those things done so that it makes sense. Or maybe you do some pre-prep, which is always good, prepping lunch before you go to bed, and prepping breakfast before you go to bed. So that way it actually streamlines it even more, and it collapses the amount of time you have to spend doing something. So think about those things that in the natural flow of your life that you can simplify so that you can get more done in less time. Okay. Listing is another great example. A lot of times when I talk to people, they have to stop and take the pictures and stop and do the keyword research and stop and go whatever. And so, again, if you can figure out what it is you're going to list, you can collapse that activity and that energy. So if today I'm going to list all baby clothes, I'm going to make sure, well, first of all, I would have already done my weekly planning, I would have already pulled out the baby clothes. And so then that way, when I'm going through the process, I have all the pictures already taken. And because it's baby clothes and they're all related, the keyword research is so much faster and easier because I can do it once and figure out, all I have to do is just adjust for sizes, colors, and dimensions and stuff like that. And I'm listing the same thing. So I'm already just focused on that particular, I'm already focused 100% on that particular product. So I don't have to think about something else. So I'm batching together things that make sense. So it makes it much faster for me to create listings. I can get more listings created that way because I've simplified the process. So think about how you're doing things. Think at your routine. So some of the things that you write down may become what we call habit stacking, putting things together that logically go together in sequence, and or because of their relationship to some other activity, or you're tying it to another activity. Because I'm already out, I should go ahead and do this other thing because I'm already near it. Okay. Then time blocks. I like time blocks. Not everybody likes time blocks, and it's okay. If you don't like time blocks, that's fine. Time blocking is where you're committing 1 hour to listing, or you're committing 1 hour to shipping, or you're committing 1 hour to sourcing, or whatever that happens to be. So it's a block of time that you're committing, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, hour and a half, 3 hours, whatever it happens to be. It's focused on that activity. It doesn't mean you don't have breaks in between. You probably have a break every 30 minutes or every 25 minutes. You get a 5-minute break, whatever works for you. But time blocks work for me. So then that way I know this is my block in which I should be listing. And so nothing else is going to bleed into that time. And I'm committed to making sure that nothing else bleeds into that time. For some, you'll like to create a checklist for the day or a to-do list for the day. So some of the activities you write down on your brain dump are going to be checklist or to-do lists. And that's okay too. For the people who don't like to commit a dedicated time in which you're going to do something, you just want to make sure you get it done. You may say, okay, these are the things I'm going to focus on in the morning. These are the things I'm going to focus on in the afternoon. And these are the things I'm going to focus on in the evening. And then making sure that it's realistic, but not too simplistic. And what I mean by that is if you only have one thing down for the morning, and you could get so many other things done, that one thing's probably realistically going to take you 15 minutes. It's like, okay, what did you do with the rest of the morning? Did you just waste the whole morning? So again, stretching yourself so that way you can improve your efficiencies over time. Try to find something else to go into those other windows as well. Make sure that you build a checklist that is not overwhelming, because we don't want you to shut down. So don't put like 50 things on your checklist and realistically you only get 18 done. We're going to celebrate the 18 you did get done, but we need to build a more realistic checklist over time. Okay. So you should have some kind of idea of how long something really takes you to do, or how long it takes you to get something done, so that way it's more, again, honest and realistic. And then you will have some of the items that you have on your brain dump that will be SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic or relevant, timely or time bound. And so an example of that is going back to the listings. If you say that at the end of the week, I want to create 100 listings, well, we're going to say, okay, if I want to create 100 listings, that's my target for the week. I'll know at the end of the week whether or not I did or did not create 100 listings. But how can I take that goal of 100 listings and divide that out throughout the week? So in the week, how many days am I working this week? Am I working 4 days? Am I working 5 days? Am I working 6 or 7? If I'm working 5 days, then I need to create at least 20 listings a day for those 5 days in order for me to hit my target of 100 at the end of the week. So again, figuring out how you want to piece together your goals. Same thing with I'll use exercising. So if exercising is something that you have a goal, create a SMART goal around it. So maybe your SMART goal is that I want to have walked, I don't know, 5 miles at the end of the week. So that means that if I'm exercising 5 days in a week, I'm going to target to walk 1 mile every single day for 5 days. That will get me to my goal of 5 miles at the end of the week. So figure out in your life and in your business, are there some of the things that you have on this brain dump list that should be SMART goals? And make sure that you identify them so that way you can measure whether or not you're working towards those and whether or not you reach those goals. All right. So now that we have our brain dump, we're going to start organizing our brain dump on the next page or the next sheet. We're going to start playing Tetris and putting together the puzzle pieces. Where do I move this thing around? You're going to first plug in the things that you already do. These are dedicated or committed things that you do on a regular basis, and they have a regular placeholder in your life at a certain time of day or week in which you do them. So keep them on the list. Now, remove anything from the list that is not serving you well or serving your business well. Definitely do that. But the things that are serving your life and your business well, keep them on the list. Okay. And then start plugging in things around that. So you'll find the space and the time to plug in the other things. And if you have a bunch of stuff left over, come back to your template, come back to your, your organized list, because this is what we're doing. We're building the template. Come back and just, erase some things and move it around, or, figure out where you want to piece it together. Hopefully you'll get everything in there, but if you don't get everything in there, some of these things, remember, will be weekly things. Some of them might be monthly things. Some of them might be quarterly things. But again, if we're working to build consistency, we have to make sure we've identified them. Okay. So now that you're sort of building out your template, whatever you ultimately build, let's test drive it for about 2 or 3 weeks and see if we can make it work. You're going to tweak it along the way. You're going to make adjustments. You're going to say, nope, I can't. This has to go on Friday morning. That's the only spot that this can go in, because it makes more sense for me to do it Friday morning instead of Thursday afternoon or whatever it happens to be. You're going to move some of the things from your brain dump list around in this template. And then you'll find a sweet spot. Now, know that you will probably create a couple different versions of your template. A couple of versions, like I mentioned before, I have 4 different versions. Technically, I have 5, but that I work with, so that way I can make sure I get as many of the things that I need to get done, that I get it done. So then the next thing is, after you have created your template, then we have the opportunity to create the actual. Now, if you've already created your template before, this is where we move into the actual. This is the what. What are we going to be doing? So before we get into the what, we are going to look at our monthly plan. We're at the end of February, beginning of March. So tomorrow we're going to create our March monthly plan. But for right now, at the end of February, you want to go back and you want to look at what your goals were for the month of February, so that way you can use this to help you Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, because Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday is still February, and you want to finish February strong. That's your goal. That's your objective. So we're going to go look and see what our goals were for the month and see if we're on target to meet those. And if not, we got a lot of focus we got to do today, and we got focus we got to do Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Okay. So that's going to drive what your actual schedule is going to look like tomorrow. So your actual schedule is going to, be impacted what your goals were for February. Number 2, what are the priorities? You're going to take a look at your schedule and you're going to say, what are the top 5 things that really need to happen this week, no matter what? And you'll figure out what your top 5 are. You'll identify what they are, and you'll figure out these are the biggest ticket items. So an example might be, I have to, create Easter listings no matter what next week. Like, my Easter listings have to go live, or I have to send my shipments into a WFS or FBA, my Easter bundles in, no matter what. I can't wait any longer. I feel like it's going to be too late. I'm not going to be able to take advantage of any of the sales. They have to go in. So my point is that you're going to think about that. Or maybe you're going to say, I got to go ahead and source Father's Day. So I need to go ahead and start ordering product for Father's Day. So again, thinking through what are the priorities that have to happen no matter what. There may be maybe there's a doctor's appointment, dentist appointment, maybe there's other things. So you're going to figure out what the priorities are for next week, and they don't all have to be business. And then the last thing before we start filling in the what is you need to be thinking about what are the habits that you want to track for the next 30 days. Because in order to build a habit, you need to do it. I believe you really need to do it for 60 or 90 days, but anywhere from 30 to 60 days of consecutively doing that thing, whatever that thing is, so it becomes something that's on autopilot. So what are those things that you really want to make a habit in your life? Maybe it's exercising, maybe it's eating right, maybe it's meal prepping, maybe it's listing every single day, maybe it's checking for orders being fulfilled automatically every day. What is it that you're not doing in your life or your business that you really want to put on autopilot? You want it to become a strong habit so that way you can move to a completely different habit in April or move to a different habit in May. So what do you want to track for the next 30 days? And what did you already commit to track for the month of February? Okay. So what are those habits for next week? And then now we get into the actual. The actual is where we get to build out our schedule for next week. So we're going to start with a column starting with Sunday and go all the way to Saturday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Let's go down the list. So product research. You have a template. It says that you're going to be doing product research. Hypothetically, you're going to be doing product research Monday through Friday from, 9 to 10. Okay. So if I'm doing product research, 9 to 10, product research, keyword research, listing research. If I say I'm doing that 9 to 10, now what am I doing product research on? So I may be doing product research on products to sell for Father's Day. I got to go out there, figure out what are the hot trends, what are the hot topics, what are the things that men are most interested in right now, what are the hot selling products that I think will probably be great for Father's Day products. Okay. So that is part of that product research. So this is the what. So if I'm doing product research, maybe Monday I'm doing Father's Day product. Well, Monday I might be doing Mother's Day product research. Tuesday I might continue Mother's Day product research. Wednesday I might be doing listing and keyword research. Thursday I might be doing Father's Day research, and Friday I might be doing Father's Day research. So again, what am I doing? What am I doing? We already said I'm doing research. So what kind of research am I doing? Then the next one is listing. So listing activities. What am I listing? So if you say that you're listing every day from 10 to 11, what am I listing? So maybe Monday, I am going to list Easter bundles. Tuesday, I'm going to list more Easter bundles. Wednesday, I'm going to list, Mother's Day products. Thursday, I'm going to list Mother's Day. Friday, I'm going to list whatever else that I had on my list that I plan on. So it's the what am I doing? Then shipping related activities. So if you say you're doing shipping related activities from 11 to 12, what is it I'm doing? So Monday, maybe I'm checking to see if shipments have gone out. Tuesday, maybe I'm shipping to my customers, or Monday, maybe I'm shipping to my customers. If I'm physically shipping products myself, Tuesday, I might be checking to see on my automated shipments that are supposed to go out. Wednesday, I may be shipping off to Amazon FBA or Walmart WFS. Thursday, I might be going out to check to see if my automated shipments go out. Friday, I might be shipping orders to my customers again, figuring out what am I doing in those shipping related activities. And then sourcing related activities. So what am I sourcing? When am I going out to do sourcing? What am I buying when I'm going out to do sourcing? Because again, you did the product research. So now I just need to go get the stuff if I'm physically going out to get it, or I need to order the stuff if I'm going to order the stuff. So what are the products? What are the products that I'm getting? And then education. What are the things I'm going to focus on from an education and learning standpoint this week? So what do I want to learn? What is the thing that I said I was going to focus on? And so if listing optimization is the thing I'm going to focus on, again, this is not an activity I'm doing every single day throughout the week. I'm doing it a committed amount of time once a week, and then I'm going to use the information that I learned and apply it throughout the rest of the week. And then administrative activities. Well, we know that we're coming to the end of We're coming to the end of the month, so we've got some accounting stuff that we got to get done. So we know we have accounting related activities. And then we also want to make sure we're not overlooking things from your personal life. So doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, luncheons with girlfriends or whatever, family members coming in from out of town. I don't know. I've got friends who have kiddos that are graduating this year. So graduation pictures, college tours, all of that stuff. Like, put all the other stuff that's happening in your life. And all of this fits perfectly in the eCom planner. If you've never gotten it, you can go to myecomplanner.com to grab it. But put those things on your list, things that are going to help you to get the rest of your life organized. So if you're working out every single day and that's something you want to track, then you're going to put down your exercise and when are you doing that and maybe you're figuring out what are the exercises. So Monday I work on cardio, Tuesday I work on arms, Wednesday I work on legs, Thursday I work on cardio, like Friday I work on stretching. Like, you figure it out. Okay. So now that we've kind of got this all on our schedule, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go look at our online calendar for next week. We're going to go look at our work calendar. If you have a job, go look at that. You can look at your business or your personal. What do you have on the calendar for your family and for yourself? Go look at all of those things. And we're going to fill all that into the actual schedule. So we're filling in all the what's everywhere. Now that we have done that, we have a guide for what we're going to focus on Sunday through Saturday of next week. So you're probably going to have to come back and, after you get to a certain place, you can pause this and then finish your brain dump and then come back and fill in your plan, your agenda for next week so you can have a successful, highly productive week next week. So I hope this information is helpful. Again, my name is Nicole Whitlock, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get organized, get focused, get consistent in their business. If that's you, I do want to invite you to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session. You can go to eComsellers.com and click on free resources. Scroll down to the free 20-minute coaching session and schedule your free 20-minute coaching session with me. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk about your journey. Let's talk about what's happening or not happening in your business. And let's talk about how we can piece together something that's going to help you to be successful. The next, I do want to invite you to join eCom Sellers Academy. It is terribly affordable. It's $17.99 a month, or you can sign up for the lifetime. If you sign up for the lifetime, you will get a free e-commerce planner. So you can go to ecomsellersacademy.com to sign up and join us. With eCom Sellers Academy, you get a free retail arbitrage list every single week, a free wholesale list every single week. You also get free weekly trainings inside of our eCom Sellers Facebook group, along with that training is in our membership site, where we have over 200 training videos for you to be able to use to help you on your e-commerce journey. So you can watch the ones that apply to you, that make the most sense for you. Okay. And so you can go to ecomsellersacademy.com right now and use that to help you, in your business. You can also schedule coaching sessions as well. And then last but not least, if you have not already gotten the e-commerce planner, if you're looking to get organized and really get consistent, the e-commerce planner is really the guide to increasing your consistency and productivity. If you've been struggling with productivity and you've been struggling with just seeing the needle move in your business, tracking what you're doing every single day changes everything. It increases your awareness of where you're going wrong or where you're taking a left turn at Albuquerque. And so you should grab the e-commerce planner. You can go to myecomplanner.com right now to grab it and use that to help you to get more productive, increase your productivity, increase your consistency in your business. So the weekly ecom planning session is really intended to help you make incremental improvements in your business and in your life over time. And so was the ecom planner, because we believe that those incremental improvements implemented over time can reshape the future of your business. So grab the ecom planner today, go back and listen to the replay, share this out with a friend, let somebody else know about the weekly ecom planning session. And my hope, my prayer, my wish for you is that you have an extremely blessed, highly productive, and very profitable day. We're still live on Clubhouse if you want to talk. Otherwise, we're going to say goodbye for now. Bye, y'all.